Hey, Nelson, alcoholic addict. That's not my real name. That's my pen name that I use here at LOL Sober. I also use that name to steal your identity when you sign up for this newsletter. Just kidding, I don't. I watched the new version of the movie Dune a few weeks ago, and not the one from 25, 30 years ago, but the new one. I loved it. One of the things that I loved the most about it was that they do a really good job of building a world that feels lived in and has its own identity, and it has a bunch of cool technology in it. And my favorite futuristic item is this force field that is generated by a wristwatch. Like the characters they hit the force field button and it surrounds them like a bubble. And the thing is, it's not a completely impenetrable force field. It endures most of the damage if somebody's shooting at them or swinging a sword at the character, but it's a little bit like a bulletproof vest in that it can be eventually broken through. It's not 100%, so it's vulnerable. And I love that vulnerable force field because it reminds me of me. At one of my first meetings, I heard somebody say that they had a big ego and low self-esteem, and I was like, whoa, I feel like maybe they're talking directly to me. Because that's the truth. I have thin skin and yet think very highly of myself, which is a toxic mix, just a terrible mix. Because of that mixture, I also often think very low of myself too. Up and down, up and down. One time I'm the best thing in the whole wide world, and the next I'm just a useless. It's up and down, up and down. When I was in active addiction, that meant the slightest turbulence pushed me to go try to numb myself out, and I'd get blasted. I would drink directly at the problem, and, sometimes it helped. It would wipe out most of the pain or the fear, not all of it. I still felt it. I remember getting into a disagreement with a work colleague one day and just sitting there at my desk stewing, looking over the cubicles at the top of his head, like 20 feet away. And I was just down in pills, chewing skull, and trying to just drink at him. Like that, that was going to take care of the problem, right? It never quite worked, obviously. The problem did not go away. The can just kind of got kicked down the road. I would see that guy the next day or later that day, and it was just like we still had a terrible disagreement that we didn't work through yet. It didn't really get me anywhere to get drunk. By the end of my drinking and drugging days, I was plastered all the time, good days or bad. It didn't matter. I was still trying to use it as my force field, though. Now, fast forward into recovery. I was terrified of living without drugs and alcohol because life without that armor was terrifying. What would I do during my next disagreement? Would I just, I don't know, what do? You just run away? Like, do you fight the person? Do you scream at them? You just start crying? Do you just collapse on the ground sobbing and just lay there? I don't know. I didn't know. I honestly didn't know what to do. But luckily in recovery, I found a new force field. Recovery has helped me get to a middle place emotionally where I have ambition and high standards, but I also don't think I'm the best in the world. I think my skin is a little thicker. I said a little thicker, not that's pretty thin actually still. And I haven't dropped to the ground in tears recently that I recall. So the force field that I have now, it's still a lot like the one in Dune. It exists, it blocks most things, but it can be penetrated, that's for sure. It's not unbreakable. Now, you might be asking, like, what's that mean? What's a recovery force field? And so to get more specific about mine, I have found that I need a steady dose of sobriety. I need it spread out. I've tried the thing where I go to meetings on like Friday, Saturday, and twice on Sunday, and I load up all in a row, but it doesn't work for me. By Wednesday at lunchtime, recovery is far enough in the rearview mirror that I start to get a little jumpy. So I can't do that. Like I can't consume recovery like a snake consumes food, like one big lump. It just doesn't work out. I need some spiritual stuff every single day to build up the force field and to maintain the force field. So these days I meditate for 20 minutes every single day. And I usually talk to one other recovery person every day, sometimes more than one. Sometimes it'll be two on Tuesday and none on Wednesday, but I try to do one person every day. Right now, I am hitting in-person meetings on Sunday and Monday, and then I hit a Zoom meeting on Wednesday and Thursday. So I'm getting the meetings on Sunday and Monday, Wednesday and Thursday. That leaves Tuesday, Friday, Saturday open. But that spreads it out pretty nicely. 4 meetings in 7 days, spaced out with a little halftime. But even then, on Saturday evenings sometimes, I haven't been to a meeting in 48 hours. I can be a little squirrely. I can be a little touchy. All that said, the force field, it goes down sometimes, and it sucks. It's a part of sober life. I can't completely numb out during bumpy moments anymore. I have to try to walk through them. I went to an incredible Sunday meeting a few weeks ago, and I felt wonderful that night, just so fulfilled. Sometimes a meeting just really hits the spot. On Monday morning, I was a complete train wreck. I had a rocky interaction with someone in my family, then I had a tough phone call, and then I had a not very spiritually fit Zoom meeting, and I felt like a mess inside. I just thin-skinned, huge ego, all of that stuff. Not good. One thing I also added in the last year and a half was I started working out, running and lifting weights. And so I thought, you know what? It's Monday afternoon. I'm struggling. I'll go for a run. And during my run, I thought back to that Sunday meeting. And I thought about it a lot during that run. And it's not the same as meditation, but it is sort of meditative when I spend time like that, quiet, and just sort of soaking in something spiritual. And so reliving that Sunday meeting was very beneficial to me. It had been a fantastic blend of people at that meeting. Some people with lots of time, some newcomers. There were some people that were in a lot of pain, and then there were other people who identified with that but had battled through it and stayed sober. And so it was this awesome mix. It was everything recovery is all about, which is living life on life's terms, even when life's terms suck sometimes. They really do. So by the time I got back from the run, I felt much better. I felt like I was heading into the final part of the day, and I felt like my force field was back up. It was very sweaty and a little stinky, but the force field was back up, and I made it through the day. And thanks for letting me share.